How can something as simple as a plate of spicy salad or a piece of woven silk actually become a tool of international influence? Well, today we're diving deep into this idea of soft power. And we're going to do it by looking at the vibrant culture of Thailand's Isan region and how it's being strategically used to shape its own future on the world stage.
You've probably heard the phrase, how to win friends and influence people, right? It's not just a classic book title. It's a really fundamental question for nations, too. And when you talk about influence on a global scale, there are basically two ways to go about it. On one hand, you've got what we call hard power. This is the stuff you probably think of first. Military force, economic sanctions. It's all about coercion. It's a push. But then there's the other side of the coin, soft power. And this is all about attraction, about persuasion. It's built on things like culture, values, and policies. It's not a push, it's a pull.
Now, this term, soft power, it was actually coined by the political scientist Joseph Nye. His big idea was that a country's real influence isn't just about the size of its army, but about the power of its story, its culture. It's about getting others to want the same things you want, but without ever using force. And that's the idea we're going to explore today. So, where can we see this idea of soft power in action? Well, let's head to the Isan region of Thailand. It's a cultural heartland that's giving a real masterclass in how to turn cultural attraction into real-world influence.
First up, let's get our bearings. Isan is this huge, sprawling region in northeastern Thailand, right up against the borders of Laos and Cambodia. Now, because of its location, it has been a cultural melting pot for centuries, and all those influences have mixed together to create something totally unique. And just how much of a draw is this region? Get this. In 2019 alone, right before the pandemic changed everything, Isan pulled in 29 million tourists. That number, it tells a huge story all by itself, a story of incredible appeal. So what's the secret sauce?
Well, Isan's soft power is built from this amazing treasure chest of cultural goodies. We're talking ancient Khmer temples, world-famous silk, fascinating local myths, super vibrant festivals, and, of course, some of the most incredible food you will ever taste. Every single one of these is a thread in the fabric of its global appeal.
So let's open up this cultural toolkit, shall we? How does something like a local dish or a traditional craft go from being a regional treasure to an actual instrument of global influence? Here's kind of how it breaks down. Food becomes this form of delicious diplomacy. Festivals, like the incredible Surin Elephant Roundup, become these massive global spectacles. The arts, like silk weaving, offer you a tangible piece of Isan's soul you can actually take home. And the unique language and folklore, that provides the deep, authentic story that holds it all together. I mean, think about that for a second. When you share a meal like a spicy somtam salad, you're not just sharing food. You're building a real, personal connection. That's a kind of diplomacy you can actually taste. And you know what? It's often way more powerful than any political speech could ever be. And this isn't all just happening by accident. The Thai government has a very deliberate strategy called the OTOP project. It stands for One Tambon, One Product. A tambon is like a subdistrict. The whole idea is to find unique local products and help them get to a global market, turning local culture into a powerful national ambassador. And this influence goes way beyond just physical products. The intangible stuff is just as powerful. Ancient folktales are now being shared on digital platforms, beaming the unique stories and the very soul of the region directly to a worldwide audience. It's pretty amazing. So this isn't just a random collection of cultural assets. It's the actual foundation of a really ambitious blueprint for the future. The plan is to strategically turn all this cultural capital into commercial and diplomatic success. You know, a strategy like this has been decades in the making. It really kicked off with formal tourism management way back in the 70s, then it evolved with that product-focused OTOP project in 2001, and now it's all come together in this super-focused 2030 blueprint. And the goal is crystal clear: become a world leader in high-quality, sustainable tourism. And the ambition here is, well, it's kind of staggering. The plan is to almost double the number of tourists visiting ISN, taking it from 29 million in 2019 to a future goal of 50 million. That is a huge leap, and it shows just how much confidence they have in the region's cultural pull. Okay, so how are they going to manage that kind of growth responsibly? Well, this 5-step plan gives us a clue. It's a really holistic approach. It's not just about promoting attractions, it's about involving local communities, keeping tourists safe, protecting the environment, and making sure everything's run well. This is a blueprint for sustainable growth, not just growth at any cost.
But of course, a plan this big is going to face some serious challenges. I mean, how do you build the infrastructure for millions more people without paving over paradise? How do you keep the culture authentic and stop it from becoming a cheap souvenir? And maybe most importantly, how do you make sure the economic benefits actually reach the local people who are the guardians of that culture in the first place?
And this brings us to the most important pivot in their whole strategy. It's not just about getting more tourists, it's about attracting the right kind of tourist. The big shift is from mass tourism to meaningful tourism, getting visitors who want to engage respectfully and actually contribute to sustainable growth. And the economic stakes? They're huge. Back in 2019, tourism was a massive driver for the region, pumping over 713 billion baht into the economy. That was almost 8% of the regional GDP and supported nearly 10% of all jobs. With that much on the line, you can see why getting this strategy right is absolutely critical.
So when you boil it all down, this whole strategy is about nurturing the roots to strengthen the tree. The goal isn't just about making money. By leveraging its incredible soft power, Isan is trying to build a tourism model that works as an economic engine while also preserving its culture and strengthening the very communities at its heart.
And this is the ultimate vision. It's a pretty inspiring goal, right? It totally reframes tourism, not just as an industry, but as a global force for promoting a better way of life, one that's built on sustainability and respect.
The story of Isan really shows us that a community's greatest strength often lies in its unique culture. And that kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. What are the traditions, the foods, or the stories that give your community its own quiet influence? What's its hidden soft power?